The views and opinions expressed by John and DJ do not reflect those of any intelligent or rational human being and are solely the property of the Brightside Chat.
This show is a proud member of the Nerdy Legion Podcast Network. Get more at nerdylegion.com. Enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome back to the Bright Side and issue number 170. John, I don't know, are we still in the Nerdy Legion? It says proud members at the beginning. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't gotten any membership perks, but I think we're paying dues. So
yeah, we're paying the dues. We are. I mean, I think Martin's kicking us out for a marrow snafu, which I still don't even know what marrow is other than bone marrow. But he's like not happy that we're part of the Nerdy Legion and we don't know what marrow is. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't get the reference, but
yeah, we got some books this week. We got some great breaking news. Can't wait to get to some of this breaking news, especially the lead-off one. I think the listeners are going to be so excited about the lead-off piece of news. I like how you led off with that one. It's so topical, right?
Yes.
So great. How about a tease? We got 3 books this week we're talking about.
Yes.
3. And you'll find out why. Trey. Exactly. And can't wait. Real World. I got some questions for you. See if you've caught up.
Oh, okay.
Because you know how far behind you are.
You're always so far ahead of me. Yes.
I know. I'm plugging away, John, as you said, going backwards through Euphoria.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to get into the store?
Yes.
All right. Let's do it. And we're in the store, the comfy confines of Arkham Comics and Games.
Yep.
How you doing, John?
I'm great, man. How are you?
Good. Going back to our roots there. How you doing, John?
Tried and true.
Tried and true. I should bring that back because I tripped you up on some of them. Like
you do.
That one. What's up? You were like, ooh. Oh, good times, good times. How are things going here in the store? Sounds busy, nice crowd.
It's always busy when you're here.
I know.
And then it's not. So hey, must be you.
It's that, I got that following,
Yep.
Sometimes it's with sirens.
It's my minions.
It's my minions. Yes. Yeah. So no, really, how's it been this week?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah. Average, but decent.
Has the comicsology going to crap helped you out at all?
I don't know yet. Not so far.
It is horrible. It's so bad. I'm getting emails from Amazon now saying, "Oh yeah, like we're working on it." Oh yeah, it is horrible. It was so nice before. You could search stuff and everything. Right. Now it's like all like embedded. It's all part of Amazon. So you search for like Ghost Rider. Right. You get everything. The movies, T-shirts,
right?
Like underwear, pillows, blankets,
matches,
everything. Yeah, exactly. I'm like anything with Ghost in it. You're like, oh look, Patrick Swayze. You're like, what?
Blueberry.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Blueberry. Oh, look, a box of blueberry. Perfect. That's not very old. That should be delicious.
Should be.
It was made in 1972, and it's almost at its expiration date. Hey, look, the marshmallows. They're still fresh. I didn't know marshmallows were supposed to be crunchy.
Yeah.
I love those marshmallows, though.
Me too.
The cereal marshmallows, like in Lucky Charms and stuff.
Yep, Lucky Charms.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you got to
get all soggy in the milk.
Yeah, that's the idea. They're serving them to you this way. It's like freeze-dried food, and you got to add milk to it. But I love to eat those just like out of the box. Oh, yeah. Yeah, usually by the time you were down low on Lucky Charms in our house, it was just all Charms. Or
there was no
Luckies. No, none of the Charms. Yeah. It was all like all the marshmallows that had been eaten by the kids. You're like,
right.
Might as well have Wheaties.
Because what's the funniest part is you scoop it out, take the marshmallows, and then pour it back into the box.
That's what I mean, yeah.
So what you're left with is like this like epidermis slayer, like
Yeah.
5 hands in this cereal.
Right.
Multiple times.
Yep.
So
That's why, like, your kids go to school, they bring home their germs, put their hands into a box of Lucky Charms. You eat said Lucky Charms. Yeah. So not good. But hey, that's what we do when we're kids.
Yeah.
And when we're 50.
Yeah.
Like, remember when COVID hit and I started eating the sugary cereal for a few weeks?
Yeah, I do.
I had all of them, and I was doing that. I was like, oh, look. That's good stuff. Good stuff. We didn't care back then. We even made cereal out of cookies.
Oh, yep.
Cookie Crisp. What do we call
Crisp,
it?
yep.
I don't know. Cookie Crisp. Just give them cookies for breakfast. What can go wrong?
All right. Good old days.
Yep. Good old days. I know. Now we care about things like health.
Yeah.
And the sugar crash at 10 a.m. in the morning. Teachers must have loved that. What'd you have for breakfast? Cookie Crisp. Head hits the desk.
He's like, oh, great.
Yep. Right at recess. Kids are like napping in the play yard. Oh, all right. Are you ready to get to some mailbag, or do you want to have some more fun Cookie Crisp banter?
Mailbag sounds good to me.
All right, let's get to some mailbag here. I had something else for you, but all right. What do we got? Oh, we got a huge thanks here. Let me open this up nice.
All right.
From our buddy, Dr. Joe. At TLDR_pod. A huge thanks to @Brightside_chat and at Arkham. You know the place, at Arkham Comics.
Yeah, that guy.
For the I can't even shout out your store or your Twitter handle. For the shout out in their latest pod. We're having fun with all the interviews, and we hope everyone enjoys listening to them. I said, anytime, boys. You do a great job and get big time talent. Keep it up. We love it. So I would just like to repeat that. Yeah, they get.
So thank you for your thank you, and then next week you can thank us for our
another thank you, and that gets John closer and closer to 4,
and so on and so on.
Yeah. No, it's we're gonna talk a little bit more about that later. But yeah, he's at Snyder, Zdarsky. They've had a lot of great names over there. It's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome. I actually now I'll say it here. I haven't even told Dr. Joe yet. I'm going to a Bees game with Dr. Joe next week. All things, if things work out, you know how this world is right now.
He doesn't know it yet.
No, he knows. He knows. But no, what I was going to say is I'm like, Tom King. I want him to get Tom King. That's my request.
Yeah.
So he'll hear that here. And it's like, I want him to get Tom King. I want to hear from him.
All right.
And I think Dr. Joe will be good about that because he's not crazy about his writing, but he still liked Batman. So, but right. And all the other stuff he's done too. Great writer. So that'd be great for them to get him. So that's my request. But lots of great stuff over there at TLDR. All right. Next up. Oh, this one's from our buddy BJ Horton, 2005. This one was on YouTube.
I must have been good this week.
No, this was from last week. John, we would have had you at 4 and I didn't see it.
You missed it.
My bad. So
well, actually, if we would have had it last week, that whole joke wouldn't have even happened. So
right. So, well, unfortunately, it would have happened this week because now we would have only had 2.
We wouldn't have had it. There you go.
So it would have happened. But yeah, none of that would have happened last week. Wow, it's a good thing. Nope. See, good things happen to good people, John.
Right.
But all he said was, on YouTube, he was, haha, yes, because I dance party. So he was commenting on YouTube about the dance party episode that was on his behalf, really, because he's the one that sent the music. He sent the picture and everything. So from Peacemaker. Right. I think a lot of people have had a dance party because of that show. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, and oh man. Ooh. Oh, hang on a second. And a minute here. Oh, do we have one incoming? No. Okay. Sorry about that. Next up, Tom, our buddy Tom. He Afterlife is a phenomenal show. Yes, it is. So he actually sent this one in, I think just before last week or something like that. But yeah. And he also said, yeah, I think Bill had moved on from Bledsoe. Brady said it in the show, but I think he was just being humble. Talking about the Brady. I think he saw the same thing as Brady.
Yeah, the tough rule.
Yeah.
Tough rule.
And, but yeah, and he was like, Afterlife is a phenomenal show. And yes, I do concur. It is a phenomenal show.
It is.
You finished that, right, John?
Yes. Yeah, I finished it. We talked about it last week, actually.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're almost done. We're halfway through season. What is it? 2 seasons right now?
It's 3 seasons, actually.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
oh, so we're almost done. We must
seasons.
be, we're almost done with 2 then. We're almost done with 2. So it's a great show. It's funny, but like I said last week, sometimes you got to be in the mood for it. You got to be in the mood to take that punch to the gut that you get.
Well, at the very beginning of every episode.
Oh no!
They all start the same way.
Yeah.
With that video in the bed.
Yeah. I'm used to that. I'm numb to that now. With the one that got Jen and I both recently we're both sitting there, and it was obviously it's in season 2, but he says he goes, "You told me to be happy. You want me to be happy, and you want me to do something, get out and do things." And he goes, "But what was his wife's name? Lisa? I think.
Yeah, I think it was. But yeah, now that I love the show, but I can't remember the name.
Right. But basically what he said is he just did this whole speech. He goes, "You know what I want to do? I want to do nothing. I just want to sit with her and do nothing. That's what I love to do, and do nothing." And he just kept describing all, and he went on, and Jen and I just sitting there. She looks over me. I'm like, "Don't look at me."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Don't look at me." Stupid dust in this room. Brutal.
Yeah, the onions.
Oh, yeah. Don't peel onions while you're watching that show. Brutal. So that's it for this week.
It had its moments. It definitely had its moments.
The show? Oh, yeah. It's a hysterical show.
It is, but it's heavy, too.
That's an understatement. Yeah. But so I almost didn't ever want to bring that up, because if I had known that, I don't think I would have started it. If somebody told me that it was super heavy like that, I would have been like, well, then what the hell do I want to do that for?
But it's still great.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's really good. All right. That will do it for Mailbag.
All right.
The streak is alive, but we didn't get to that lucky number 4 for John this week. Yet again.
Dang.
Shoosh. Maybe we could turn that into a Lent thing. I mean, Lent starts today as the podcast comes out, so maybe we'll only do 3 a week for Lent, huh, John? You get it? Wink, wink. Go. And you cannot go wink. All of Lent. John's like, can we get on to breaking news? Because when I listen back to this with Lydia, she gets mad at me.
Yeah. No.
I know. We're lucky. All right. You ready for breaking news then?
I am.
I know you are.
All right. So we're going to start this segment off the way we always do, with a little bit of Tom Brady news.
All right. Is everybody excited?
Also from the coming out of left field department, Tom looks like Tom Brady is set to star in a road trip comedy movie with Jane Fonda and Sally Field. So there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. Yep.
But
there isn't. It's I like the detractors. He just can't stay out of the spotlight. I think he just likes to do things, but everybody's like, it's gonna suck. It's gonna this. It's gonna that. And we're like, all right, let's be fair. Let's be honest. When has he done anything that sucked? It's like what's going to be funny is if it comes out and it's great, but now it's like he's not a patriot. He's not. You don't have a fan. It's just a piece of content. Right. How do you justify? Be like, well, I think it stinks, but it won an Oscar. It's like, no, I'm not saying he's going to win an Oscar, but you know what I mean? Like, people are just going to hate it because they hate him.
Right. Except, well, it'll be big in New England, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And maybe Tampa. I don't know. He spent 2 years down there.
Yeah, he spent 2 years there. He'd be big there, too.
He does have quite a following around the NFL, to be fair. Kind of like Montana did. I was a huge Montana fan.
For sure.
You know? I mean, just the vocal minority, I think, is the ones that are like the haters. I think most people respect everything he's done. It's just funny listening to the detractors, and you're like,
yeah,
how do you know? I think he's a producer, and he's just going to, it's his production company too, right? Is it his first
It's
one?
his It is, yes.
Yeah. So he's just starting out. And I think he's only going to have a cameo as far as I know, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think he's like a leading role.
Yeah, I don't know how big his role is, but yeah. Well, and again, I find it funny when like the accusation is that like he just can't stay out of the spotlight.
Right.
Like, but they don't say that to Al Pacino.
Right.
Who's been in the spotlight for 50 years. You know what I mean? Everybody that we know of for some reason, it's because they can't stay out of the spotlight. You know, It's like they don't do just that one thing and then call and say, "Okay, I'm good now." You know? Like that would be me. You know, I'm that guy.
Right,
like,
you're that guy. You did Brightside Chat and you ended it. Me, I'm looking for spotlight everywhere. I keep starting podcasts. Nobody put spotlight on me, John. What the hell?
Right. But, you know, like for me, like you give me that $1 million signing bonus, like I'm good. You don't ever have to even put me on a team from there. You know, like I don't need any more spotlight, you know, but
do you hear that, listeners? If you give him $1 million, he will go away.
I'll just go away.
Just go away. That's all we're asking. $1 million. Like, I'm looking for a co-host because we found somebody to pay John $1 million.
Right.
And
it's like, you know,
he literally disappeared. I can't even find him to collect my
away, but nobody will know about me. But, you know, if I kept saying, well, you know, give me that $1 million every day, then, you know, all of a sudden.
Yep. Road trip comedy with Jane Fonda and Sally Field.
Well, and then, those two, right?
Right.
Like,
so he's.
I don't picture them in their 80s on a road trip comedy. Like
no.
So.
No, is he remaking Thelma and Louise?
Right.
I mean, that was a great movie.
It was.
He's going to end it differently. They're not going to go over the cliff.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, I think his name. I think he just wants to start a production company, and that's what he's doing. So, and there's rumors he might come back to football. Who knows? I don't know.
That's if he's going Hollywood, he's probably not coming back to football. But
you think Gronk will be in it?
Yeah, he's
pretty much like follows them everywhere, right?
He's like the one night drunken hookup at one of the bars with like Jane Fonda, you know.
My mom used to work out to your stuff.
Yeah.
I have a great. I can't tell it here. I can't. I'll tell you later. I have a great Gronk story. It's a private one, but
okay.
He's a great guy. I'll say that. He is a great guy. But all right. But he is a jock.
Yes.
That's the basis of the story. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yeah,
this is a little more our wheelhouse. Not comic, but it's our wheelhouse.
Yeah. Ozark season 4 part 2 is set to air its final 7 episodes on April 29th. So you've got just a few short months to get caught up on season 4 part 1.
Well, isn't it? It's only 6 episodes, right?
It's 7.
The first half? 7 and 7?
7 and 7, yeah.
Oh, wow. We're getting 14. Jen was telling me our friends were all upset the way this season 4 ended. They didn't know.
They didn't know. Oh, well. Yeah.
I'm like, what are they arguing about? She's like, they didn't like this. I'm like, It's not over.
Well, I guess, yeah, if you thought that was the end and it wasn't coming back, then it would have been disappointing. So,
Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, it's a Google search away, people. What are you upset about? It's like every time something ends, you're like, is this the end? Are they coming back? What do
when I think even at the end of it, it said something about, will return on the fall or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yep. But that's not the fall. It's coming, when you say?
April. Spring.
April 29th.
Yeah, April 29th.
Cool. All right. Big news
All
for
right.
you.
Yeah,
I'll
a little bit of
get caught
comic
up.
news.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit of comic news.
Yes.
DC has announced a new creative team set to take over Batman with issue 125 in July.
Somebody's listening to the Bright Side chat.
They are, because we called this a while back.
Months ago.
But yeah, Chip Zdarsky and George Jimenez are taking over, like I said, creatively
Yep.
on issue 125. The other super exciting thing here is that we're changing the creative team and we're still going to be at issue 125 and not 1. So,
You and your numbers.
yeah. Just proving once again you can change creative teams without starting over again.
More big news, though, too. We'll talk about in checkout.
Okay.
Big Batman news. I think you know what I'm going to refer to.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm wondering, does that play out with Zdarsky or ahead of time? Maybe, I don't know, but we'll talk about that there. But yeah, Dr. Joe actually was the one that alerted us to this. We hadn't seen the news; it like literally broke. And
yeah,
he texted us and was like, "Did you see this?" And we're like, "Yeah, we saw it months ago." Chip told us that right before he went on your show. I think if I remember right, I think Dr. Joe even said that to him.
Did he?
I think in that, I can't remember. I feel like he did. I feel like he said, I'd love to see you on Batman or something like that. And he didn't say anything about it, but that would be, that is awesome. And that's what we were saying as soon as we got the news that he was leaving Daredevil, and that, I mean, everything was coinciding. And that's the first thing we said. How cool would it be if he went over there? And then who's writing now? I forget. Batman.
Joshua Williamson.
So I made the joke to Dr. Joe. I'm like, I mean, you saw it. Like, is this a matter of like Zdarsky just became available, or he took the offer, or were they trying? Like, doesn't that seem like a weird transition? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why did you have that? What, an intern writer, interim writer?
Right.
So
well, and Chip is writing Batman right now with that, Batman the Knight series. So,
but I'm wondering, was it a negotiation thing? Are their numbers down? Like, honestly, the way you'd know obviously better than any of us what the Batman numbers look like, but just by our excitement over it, I feel like a lot of the Batman excitement has waned. And I'm wondering if that was reflected in DC's numbers. And if that's the case, were they trying to lure Zdarsky in? And Zdarsky was like, no, here's my price, and they're negotiating. And then they said, no, we don't want to pay that. But then the numbers start to drop, and they keep dropping and dropping. And then they go, all right, give him the money. And here he was coming in July. And you're like, I wouldn't be surprised if here go the numbers again. They're going back up. Right. It's like, I mean, I don't even say any of this as a negative. I mean, that's business doing business. And I think it's great. I think it's great for Chip, I mean, he stuck by what he wanted. And obviously, I think in this scenario, if that's how it played out, he won.
Right.
So good for him. Good for him. And good for us, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's awesome for us.
Because,
I can't wait.
Like I said, Batman has been floundering for me, even as a reader, for a while. So
Right. So cannot wait for July. Right at my birthday. I think they did that on purpose, John.
They did.
Yeah, exactly.
The comics gods.
Yeah. Yep. And this is the year, John. I mean, we're, here we go. We're the new 52 now.
We are. You're right.
In July. I'll be the new 52 with you. So there you go. All right. I at least I got a smile out of you. All right,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
move on to the next one.
Okay, this I think just broke today, right? At least I just found out today.
Yes.
Um,
That's why I
but
sent it to you and then saw you already had it in the notes.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So we speculated last week or the week before. We talked about all the Marvel Netflix shows, or all the Marvel shows leaving Netflix, rather, and like where and when they were going to show up next.
Mhm.
So it looks like they are all officially coming to Disney Plus on March 16th. And it says that they will have parental controls. Now, I
Yep.
didn't see exactly if they mentioned how that was going to be, whether it was going to be like a
Would you
separate
like me
section.
to elaborate?
If you know, I would like you to elaborate.
Okay, so I actually read one of the articles. So what's
I
going to
read some
happen?
of one.
What, just to get the titles?
Yeah.
So basically what it is everybody's in the US anyways, everybody's Disney Plus app is going to get an update. And then if you do nothing, you will continue to be on 14, like MA14, or not MA14, but whatever it is, 14 rating. But you can go in and you can set the ratings for what is allowed to be. And you can set passcodes and stuff like that. So if you do nothing, I think you should be okay unless, and that's the one part that I was unclear about. I'm not sure what like Daredevil is going to get, or Luke Cage, or, I think, was it Luke Cage had nudity? Did one of them?
I don't remember any of them having nudity. There was a lot of implied sex and, scenes like that, but
Right.
I don't remember any of them actually showing nudity.
Maybe not. But yeah, you have.
But I think the most graphic was Jessica Jones, like
Was
her
that-
scenes with
I couldn't remember if
Luke
that was
Cage. Or was
Jessica
that-
Jones
maybe
in
that was
Luke
his-
Cage.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
Um,
They broke the bed, John.
I know.
They broke the bed. Oh man, I got a funny story about that, and it and I could say that on this podcast. So I used to go to the midnight showings when we had midnight showings, right? When they were legit midnight showings. And when my kids got old enough and they were in school, I would take them to midnight showings as well. So when the what's the name of the vampire series that all the girls loved with
Twilight.
Batman? Twilight. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I took Meg to one of the Twilights. I think it was the second or the third one. And it was the movie where the two main characters, Robert Pattinson and what's her name, they consummate their marriage. Well,
Right.
he's a vampire, much like Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. They broke the bed. Do you remember that scene?
Right.
Did you see the movie?
Oh, I didn't see any of them.
Okay. So it was like the Jessica Jones scene, and it
Right.
was fairly graphic, but implied, right? Not nudity or
Right.
anything. But I'm sitting there with like my 11, 10-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And like a true Irishman, when you get in an uncomfortable situation, you break out the humor. So I went, it's like me and your mother. She just looked at me like, huh? I'm like, yeah, you didn't think I was going to go there, did you? Whoo! Like, back to eyes on the screen.
Yeah.
So I have a great relationship with my daughter.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene was super uncomfortable. I was like, ooh. But yeah. So yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., all the Marvel shows. I think Punisher is probably going to be, that's the worst. Isn't it? Season.
Yes, language and violence, it would be the worst, right?
Yeah, I thought so. But yeah, very exciting. Can't wait to see that land. Can't wait to see what it's like and how it's presented. And I mean, some of those later shows all had Dolby Atmos on them, so hopefully we'll get all that and everything. So.
Right. But the thing is, these were all streaming at Netflix yesterday, you know what I mean? And then it's like, not like, there's not going to be a big rush of people waiting to watch these things once they hit Disney Plus, because we've all had the chance to watch it for 2 years already. So,
right.
like, whoever wasn't watching it yesterday probably isn't watching it today.
Well, no,
So,
that's all right. Let me give you an example. A guy like, and I know it is coming to Canada too. Rob H from AV Rant. I don't think he still doesn't have Netflix. He cut the cord off of Netflix because their price went too high. And he's like, I'm not paying for that much for that content. But he does have Disney Plus. So, and he loves it. I think it includes stars up there or something like that. The way he's always, there's differences in each country. Yeah. But now it's going to show up for him there. Maybe he will. Now he'll be like, oh. And I know I'm going to check stuff out. Just because I'm like, I haven't seen this in a while, and Daredevil is so good, and I just want to see what it looks like on Disney Plus. And I think it just sparks renewed interest. And then the other part is, do we get additional seasons now? With, the whole, now that's all in one place, we can add, he's now a character in the MCU. Do we get more seasons? So this is step one that we've wanted ever since the Disney Plus came out. And obviously right when Disney Plus came out, I think we were hearing, Jessica Jones, wasn't that the last one to air right before Disney Plus came out?
I think it was the last.
It was like that fall, that spring. I think that came out in like June of that spring, and then Disney Plus came out.
I think that was the last show that ever aired, right?
Right.
The last series. So, yeah.
But we had known that there were no more. They weren't going to be around anymore. Then we hear we knew about Disney Plus. So we all started to speculate, even way, way back then, like, was this all a planned thing? Like, we're pulling it from there because we're going to take it. And then that's when we learned about the 2-year agreement that they wouldn't have it for 2 years. Well, that just passed last year, and now here we are. And so hopefully we're going to be getting more, Matt Murdock in the MCU and hopefully on Disney Plus.
Yeah. So fingers crossed.
And of course, Iron Fist.
Yes. Because that's the guy we want back in that seat in the MCU.
It was like the slowest, worst show of the group, but then at the final season, the final episode, you were like, I want more. And you're like, oh.
Right. But I think it was more for the fact that it was Colleen was the Fists. You know what I mean? And it was like,
well, I also liked
more
him
interested
too.
in her.
Didn't he like do something with guns and stuff at that
he did,
point?
Yeah.
At the end, and the interest in the entire show just went through the roof. Right. It was like, you should have opened with this.
Yeah. Maybe we'd get another season.
Right. Exactly. So, all right. More MCU news.
Yeah.
Final piece.
Kevin Feige, I guess, gave an interview where he said, talking about like the anchor of the MCU going forward, I guess without Iron Man, and Doctor Strange apparently is going to be the anchor of the MCU. So I think that promises a lot more multiverse shenanigans coming up through the MCU if he's the center of it all. I think many movies will be affected by stuff he's doing. So,
yeah. I just think he's the elder statesman, so that it seems like the obvious choice. As much as we would all like Tom Holland, but I think that's also part of the negotiating tools with Tom Holland as well.
Yeah.
He's probably under contract longer. Benedict Cumberbatch, that is.
Probably. Well, and I was going to say, and Marvel has like sole control of Doctor Strange, right? As opposed to Spider-Man.
Yep.
Which there's that shared control with Sony.
So. Right. And I mean, Tom Holland's character is also a lot younger. I think if we had an older Peter Parker, he would, be able to take up that mantle, excuse me, a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch is clearly the old. I mean, it would, and Hulk Banner is not exactly a leader.
Right.
Just gets angry too easy.
And we all know in comics that Tony Stark and Stephen Strange are like beard bros. So it makes sense for them, to be the two statesmen here.
I'm not 100% sure Stark is gone. I think
might not be.
I think he's back as AI.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
that's been the rumor, but we'll see.
right.
But
And
see, we might see that sooner on Disney Plus because of the Ironheart show. So
okay. Yeah,
if that
true.
would like if he was
Right.
going to be the AI, it would probably be there and not so much in one of the next feature films,
Right.
But
Yeah, he'll take over the voice, and that's all he has to do is voice work.
or it could be armor, because really the next couple of projects that have anything to do with the armor, are on Disney Plus. Because you have Ironheart and then Iron Wars or Iron Warriors or whatever the heck that's going to be coming down the line. So
yeah. All good. All good. Can't wait. Speaking of can't wait, do you have your tickets? You all set
do.
for Batman?
Yeah.
Coming out this week?
My midnight show is at 3:00.
Which day?
Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. I could have seen it 7:00 on Wednesday.
Yeah, they were doing the same thing here.
Yeah.
But
I too am seeing it 3:00 on Thursday.
Because it's a 3-hour flick, so
that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, I don't know. 3:00, that's a better time to see it. And
because we'll see it, get out at 6, have some dinner by
still
the theater.
be able to be in bed by 7:30.
Exactly.
Right.
Because we are in our 50s.
Right.
So.
The new 52.
That's right.
I was actually surprised when I picked my seats, and I picked them last week, how it was pretty much sold out. Like I didn't get a prime seat. I'm a little off to the side, not a great seat, but obviously they're still doing the COVID separation where there's one seat between you and whatever party. So that hurts a little bit. It's not too bad, but yeah, I kept bouncing around to different shows to see, like I looked at the Wednesday night one at 7. That had a good crowd at it already. And then the Thursday show had, for a Thursday at 3, it's not a vacation week or anything. It had a pretty good crowd, almost as good as the Wednesday night show and the Thursday night show.
Yeah, see, that's weird because mine was just the opposite. Like I didn't book mine till last week too. I think it was actually right after we finished recording. I sat here and bought the tickets, but it wasn't nearly full. Like I got my same kind of my 2 prime seats that I always buy. It may fill up still, but I remember thinking that there was a lot of, quite a few seats left. Whereas at the same time, trying to buy Spider-Man tickets, it was sold out like right away. So
yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's funny because I go to Bruins games, like I said. There's nothing there. They've been open all season since October, and there's they had vax mandates, they had testing mandates, they have mask mandates, they've gone through all of that, but not once was there like seat allocations, because you can't, the logistics of that, you can't do that because you have season ticket holders, you can't cut that building in half like that, right? But then you go to the movies, which is a much smaller crowd. And it's like, all right, I'm going to sit a seat away from you. It's pretty funny. Pretty funny. So, all right. What do we got next? What are we up to next here? We're going to do checkout.
Checkout, yeah.
All right, John. What did we spend our money on this week?
All right. So the first book. All right. First book we read is from Boom Studios, Killer Affairs of State, issue number 1. This is a 6-issue miniseries. Says it was written by Matz, just like Prince or Cher, Matz, and it had art by Luc Jacamon.
And it's M-A-T-Z, Matz.
Yeah, M-A-T-Z. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't realize ahead of time that this was kind of like a series that had existed before and wasn't a new thing. But this, I guess this killer character had series before. But yeah, I don't know.
Did you not like it?
No, I liked it, but it
Oh.
was just kind of like a lot of description of like what he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just like, this is me stalking people. This is me killing people. This is me having a job trying to blend in, and
Right.
so it was a lot of setup, I felt like. But he's basically his assassin. He's on an on-call assassin with a team of people that go around taking assignments to kill people. And
Right.
yeah, I thought it was, I don't know, like I said, I thought it was fun. I liked it, but and I think it spent a lot of time just setting itself up for the next 5 issues or so.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was entertaining. I mean, it was a little slow, but I read it last week. I'm trying to think, but I did like it.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to think of what it was about. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. It was just a lot of him in the office and just a lot of him saying, like, detailing his process as, basically an assassin, or a killer for hire. So
yeah.
it was, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed it. And apparently this is going to be a series or a movie, I guess, on Netflix. So,
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I liked it. And you know what else I noticed about the art though is that who's the artist?
Luc
Luc
Jacamon.
Jacamon. Yeah.
Jacamon.
Lots of blues and oranges.
Yeah.
And it was, which I thought was funny because the cover that I have up on YouTube is purples and blue. It's like a purplish color, most of it.
Right.
But almost every frame has blues and oranges in it, which are opposite colors. But then this character, I felt like obviously he's leading a double life, right? So he's got the two sides of him. And I just thought that was kind of cool. And it's like, I noticed it early on. And then as I kept flipping, like more and more panels, I'm like, damn, some of these panels are all yellow and orange. And then other panels are all blue. They have a blue tint to them. And then some panels have the two of them in there. And I'm like, I remember at the end, now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I remember at the end going, oh, I got to go back through and see if if the blue panels mean something different from the yellow panels or something. But I did find that interesting and I did like the artwork.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was very spy intriguing type stuff.
It was.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, I'm going to keep reading it. I enjoyed it.
All right. I think I am, but again, it's one of those ones that you're like, oh, did I read that?
Right.
It's like,
if I see it again, maybe I'll read it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was good. All right. This next one, I couldn't find it.
Oh, I thought you were going to do yours.
No. You can do this next one. Then
you
we'll
couldn't find this one.
Yeah, because then I think we'll talk about the last one together.
Okay. Yeah. So Heathen issue number 1. This was by Heavy Metal Magazine is actually the publisher for this. It was written and drawn by Natasha Alterici. Yeah, this was had a Viking kind of Norse god story. But you have this warrior Adis, and she's basically on a mission from her village to go on a quest and kind of find herself. And they are trying to think of even how this went. This was really kind of not great. I guess I'll just stop and go there. The art was pretty rudimentary. The story wasn't fantastic. It was basically just, they talk about like the Valkyrie Brunhild and how she defied Odin and was basically banished and kind of waiting to be found. And you have this other warrior in training, Adis, and she's leaving her village, and her task is going to be to try to find her. But it's implied that she is actually her, and so it was not, like I said, not great. So.
And I didn't miss much then.
Yeah, you didn't. It wasn't fantastic.
Obviously, being from Heavy Metal Magazine, I couldn't find it
Yeah.
on Comixology. I found a crap load of Heathen #1s though. There's a Vault puts out a Heathen.
Okay.
And I had trouble finding that. And I got that. I think I got the right cover because I did look it up and it came out today or last
It's like
week.
all red. Yeah.
Yeah, it's red. She's
Like
pulling
Red
a bow.
Warrior. Yeah.
Yeah, she's pulling a bow.
That's it.
But yeah, that's the cover that I have. But I'm like, it was just weird. I'm like, why can't I find this? But then, yeah, like you said, it's Heavy Metal Magazine. So,
Right.
oh well, looks like I didn't
Small
miss
press.
much.
But no, you didn't. Like I said, it was kind of, I don't know, a little confusing and not super great, a little choppy. So,
No, that's too bad. That's too bad. All right. This next one, though, which was on our list for last week, and I was kind of looking forward to it. And then I heard Benjamin Percy on TLDR, and that just put me over the top. So I had to read it. And so, yeah, Ghost Rider #1, writer Ben Percy, Cory Smith art. And what did you think? Because you said you were going to talk about it too.
Yeah, actually, this was one of the other books I was going to talk about as like also read.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I was super excited when I realized that this was a Johnny Blaze book because I remember thinking prior to this that it was going to be probably Danny Ketch. And I'm going to sound like the old guy, but Johnny Blaze is my Ghost Rider. You know what I mean? So I was super happy to see that. I initially wasn't thrilled with the way they were handling him, though, because it felt very Johnny Blaze, But you kind of come to realize that, like, he's living in kind of like the WandaVision perfect city that's not really neighborhood, but it's not real. So, because they're talking about him, kind of having this accident and not riding motorcycles anymore. And you're like, this doesn't feel like Johnny Blaze. So I don't really like the way they're handling this. And then, it kind of all comes apart and you realize what was going on. And, all of a sudden, he's full Ghost Rider again. And, yeah, I liked it.
I loved it. I love it. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to the next book. I loved, listening to Ben talk to them too. And did you hear that interview?
I didn't. No,
oh my God. You got to hear the interview just to hear his voice. Have you heard him talk before?
No.
But he sounds like this. It's like wicked deep voice. And it's like a great guy. But he was like, it's so funny when like Nick or Dr. Joe would ask him something that like a spoiler or something. And he was like, I'm not telling you. And he was just, but which is great because they ask the questions and you're like sitting there listening going, I'm like, and he'll be like, I'm not telling you, which only just fuels that fire, like on different things. So like,
it's like, I'm not saying no, but
right. And it'll be stuff about like, that's upcoming, other books he's writing, stuff with Ghost Rider. He has this whole plan. So he's going to be writing it for a while. But one of the things that I liked, and it was just touched on in this first book, is this whole entire, like, he's being hunted, or you have that whole FBI aspect of it. Like, they're going to be hunting him after what happened, where, like, they say in this book, like, well, since S.H.I.E.L.D. was shut down, we have all this, they have to take care of this stuff. I love that idea. I love, how's that story going to go? And there was another thing that was in the interview too, where he said, talking about the artwork with Cory Smith, and he was like, he goes, we just wanted to put something horrible in every panel. Something. Right. So like every time I'm like, it would be this nice looking panel and you're looking for something in there, and it could be something on a fence or something like that, but there's going to be something gross in every panel. But then, yeah, like that whole white picket fence thing and everything, you see that in this book, and it's, I just like what they're doing with Johnny Blaze. I think I grew up, I didn't read a ton of Ghost Rider, but I knew Johnny Blaze. I knew Ghost Rider. I knew the whole idea of it. And what I like about this book is that you don't have to have known anything. it's kind of a new beginning, even if you've never even read a Ghost Rider before. I think it's, you can just come right into this because you get the idea who Ghost Rider is. I mean, even if you've only seen the movie, you're going to get that. But then you come into here and it's I like it a lot. It's very exciting. High hopes for this after this first book. So I don't want to say Zdarsky Daredevil just yet, but I'm really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. Oh, and speaking of which, that was one of the questions. Are you going to be bringing other Marvel characters into this? and Ben goes, "Yup." They go, "Can you tell us who?" And he goes, "Nope." It was awesome. So yeah, really excited for this book.
Cool.
So glad I read it. So do we have a show title?
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah. So we're gonna go with Killer Affairs of the State.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ghost Rider #1. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, what do we got coming up next week? Let's see. First one. Oh, yes. I like this.
Rogue Sun, issue #1, and then Strange, issue #1 from Marvel.
Yeah. I'm excited for that one too.
I am too.
I actually am. I'm excited for that one. I'm a little excited for Rogue Sun as well. That looks like it.
Good.
Do you know anything about it? I love the artwork, the cover that I have here.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Some giant, flaming giant person walking through a city, but I'm like, I don't know what this is, but sounds interesting.
Well, it looks interesting.
I hate it when my son goes rogue. And that's son with a U, not an O. So
yeah,
you do not want that.
Don't want that.
Not a good thing. All right. What else did you read?
That's really it. The only other one I was going to talk about was Ghost Rider. So
okay.
I did that. Yeah.
I am all caught up on Saga.
Fantastic.
Yes. Huh?
Caught up all the way to the one that just came out.
Yeah. 56. Yeah, that was a short book.
I was going to say, I guess I can talk about that because I read that too, but I wasn't going to bring it up because I didn't know if you were caught up.
Well, no, I just wanted to get the credit I deserve for plowing through that. You know me. I mean, thank you, everybody. See? Thank you. The crowd appreciates it.
Bravo.
Bravo, you read.
Yeah.
A comic. No, that's what I wanted to ask you is like, I got through it and like anything else, it's like if something, not like anything else, but it's such a good book that once you start it, you don't want to stop. But if you do have to stop for whatever reason, like me, something else takes your mind and you go elsewhere and do other things, getting back to it is like, all right, I know I got to do this. But then I got back into it this week and I just didn't want to, again, I got sucked in. I didn't want to put it down. Right. And I get to book 56 and I blasted through it and I was like,
and you're like,
done. Are they all this short? It just didn't seem it because I just kept going on to the next book and the next book and the next book. And now when I'm finally at the end and I'm like, that was way too short. It felt like it was like 10 pages. It was just that it just felt, and it had a very abrupt ending to it too.
Well,
obviously.
It did. Yeah.
Not honestly though, now that I am caught up, not as abrupt of an ending as 54 was. And how many years was that?
3.5 years.
Wow. I mean, I only had to wait. Like, I didn't even wait 3.5 minutes.
Right. Yeah, such a big cliffhanger.
That was brutal.
Or not so much cliffhanger because you knew he was dead. Like you knew at the end of 54. Yeah. Well, you had the sense that he was dead. You know what I mean? And so.
Well, at the end of 54, you knew he was. But what I'm saying is,
you knew he was dead. It wasn't.
Yeah, but you didn't see it coming. Right.
Well, no.
That's
but
what I'm saying.
It
I
wasn't.
Don't spoil it for people.
Right.
Meaning I'm the last one on the planet to read it.
Yeah, that had to be spoiled.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was a lot to it. Kind of like I said, Luke, I am your father. It was a lot to digest for 3.5 years. So
yeah. Yeah, I wanted to ask you that. Like, how long of a gap was that? Because that was just, wow, that ended. And then you go right to 55, and I was like, didn't seem like much to me. It was
And I didn't
fun.
realize it when I read it. It kind of hit me later that the story picks up 3.5 years after his death. So it was like
Right.
the whole time of their hiatus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
Like,
they do
just
that a
didn't-
bunch. They do that a
But
bunch
it's
throughout
like they
the
didn't
story.
give us that story. They just assumed that we missed those 3 years and picked up.
Right. But
So.
that's what I mean. It's like I noticed that throughout the story that there were time jumps
There were a couple
where
of
they
time jumps,
they just jumped, like, because she was a baby and then she wasn't a baby anymore, and then
right.
I think one of the most interesting things in this is how old is she while she's narrating this. You know what I mean? Like, because we never know.
Right.
And
Well, we may know at the end, but
she could be an
I mean,
old
I think
woman.
She's right. I
That's
think
what I
she's
mean.
older, like
that's what I
older
mean.
adult.
I think we
Yeah.
will find out. But
Right.
now, is she sitting talking to her family, reading her? Why is she telling
Right.
this story? That's I think going to be part of the fun at the end of all of this.
Right.
But yeah, aside from the entire story that it is,
Right.
really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Did I read? I know I read. Oh, Robin. That was the one that I was going to bring up. You read Robin, right?
I did. Yeah.
So you saw the ending to that.
Yes.
And if you're reading Robin, I think we can talk about it. I don't think
Yeah.
it's a spoiler, because if you're reading Robin, then you know. And if you're not reading Robin, then you'll never know, because we're into book 11 now, something like that, 11 or 12.
11 or 12. Yeah.
But I thought that was a pretty cool way. Are they bringing Alfred back? And this is how they're going to do it? Do you think that?
I didn't think that necessarily. When I read it.
What do you think? Are you thinking?
No.
Do you remember the end?
I'm trying to remember it. Why don't you refresh my
So
memory?
the end of Robin, he goes to Alfred. It's like Alfred's grave,
Right.
right? So they're talking about, what did he say? He said something like, I think he wanted to. He has some of the whatchamacallit, the green fluid that brings them back, like in the
from
game,
the
Lazarus
from the
pit.
Lazarus pit.
Yeah. And then he says something like, there's something I need to do. And then the next thing they show is Alfred's tombstone.
Tombstone. Well, maybe. I mean, how long has he been dead? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the statute of limitations is on the Lazarus pit.
I don't want to get into the physics, but dead is dead. It's like, I love how, like, when you put it into reality, like you're doing this big sigh, right? But it's like, but dead is dead, right?
Yeah.
So you can't be more dead. You're dead. So like if this was, and this is all make believe because we can't bring people back, right?
Right.
But it's like, but somehow we put in our rational minds, when we see stuff like this in fiction that says, oh, they can come back, but it's got to be early, because where are they going? Like, you could bring George Washington back. You could bring Attila the Hun back. You can bring, if you can bring a dead person back.
Well, but I think it hasn't gone past the point of decomp or whatever. Like, because can you bring back, like, just the skeleton, or does it have to, like, are they going to come back as zombies if they're decomposed? Like, you wouldn't want to come back to life and look like you're on The Walking Dead,
Well, well, maybe this rejuvenates you. It brought you back from the dead, John. Why can't your mind go to the point that it rejuvenates you?
I don't know.
Like, for some reason, we have this idea that when you get bitten by a vampire, you stop aging and you only stay where you are. Okay, fine. That's the parameters of vampirism. Apparently, if somebody's dead, you got to get to them right away before they're dead.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm like, I just think that's funny. It's like, and I talked about this in my other podcast about time travel. I'm like, my argument is always like, we will never invent it. And how do you know? I'm like, because we don't have it. Once it's invented, I'm always like, you don't invent the time travel at a certain time. You discover time travel. Because once it's invented, or once you find it, it's everywhere. It's in all times. So which time had it? Because when they show up here and you're like, oh, now you got it. What have you been waiting for? I threw your mind for a loop, didn't I?
Yeah.
You're all confused. Okay, back to Alfred. Dead's dead. Doesn't matter how long he's been dead. He can still come back. Just got to get him a new suit because it's going to be ripped in the back like in The Crow.
Yeah.
Right?
Because that doesn't get rejuvenated.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess we'll see.
That's the idea, John. That's
yeah. Well, time will tell.
Yep. Wow, you got any more cliches?
No. None that I can think of.
All right. All right. You ready for real world?
Sure.
I'm sorry. Oh, man, that's good stuff. What do we got? How long is your list this week?
It's pretty short, actually.
Really? You feeling okay?
Yeah. It's just, well, there's a reason why. I'll get to that halfway through it. But we started out with Endgame that you recommended.
Yeah.
And yeah, super fun.
Isn't it?
Great blue dress.
Did you see episode 2? That was last night.
No, I haven't seen.
Okay.
I haven't seen 2 yet.
She loses the dress. Not in a good way. She just
I was gonna say
changes.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
But a little
cheesy.
A little cheesy. Yeah, a little
super
cheesy. Predictable, but
it's Peacock.
Super fun. Oh. I did like the kind of they threw you for that little loop with the flashback, because they lead you down one path and then you find out it's something different. But
you're gonna get more of that. Episode 2, same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. So it is super, super cheesy. There's I'll even give you for instance, in episode 2, they bring a bomb into a building. Uh-huh. And they like hide it in not in a locker, but like in a cubby. But like all bombs in the movies, they have that bright red blinking light to let you know.
So you can't miss it.
But the bright red, the bomb is in a bag, and the blinking light is like shining through the bag. And they put said bomb and bag into the cubby with the blinking light facing out.
Right.
And walk away. Well hidden.
Yeah.
There's a blinking light sitting right there in the room.
Nobody's ever going to notice this.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I'm watching this and I'm like, stupid John mind. Yeah. I'm like, you couldn't have turned it around backwards and it would have just looked like any other bag, carry-all and stuffed in a cubby or whatever. And no, you got this blinking light. That's the only thing it didn't have is a little chime to go with it.
Little chime going, me.
Yeah. I'm a bomb. I'm a bomb. Yeah. I'm a bomb. And wait till you see the building that it's in. Definitely doesn't belong. So you'll even like that. But I don't want to give it away. But yeah, it is. It's super fun. And she's one of the producers of the Marina Baccarin. Yeah. She's one of the producers of the show. It's just a blast. And and again, super, super cheesy, overacting here and there, plot holes, but just fun.
Yeah, like I said, it was fun.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. And then next we watched Severance, the new show on Apple TV.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but that's on our list. Yep.
Yeah. They dropped 2 episodes to start with. We watched the first one. Are you familiar with do you know what the premise of the show is?
No.
Okay, so basically what Severance is that you're hired by this company, and part of the terms of your employment is that you will put this inhibitor in your head, basically. And what it does is it splits your mind into like 2 halves. And one half is like your work memories, and the other half is your personal life memories. So, like, when you go to work, you're at the elevator, and as you're going down the elevator, it flips the switch from your personal personality to your work personality. So the premise is that like when you're at work, you only remember memories that you formed there. So everything in your you don't remember your name, you don't remember where you live, whether you're married, you don't remember anything about your outside life.
Wow.
You only remember your work. And then the opposite when you're outside of work. So you don't know what you do for a living. You know where you work, because you drive there every day, but that's it. And so
I know I have to go in there, but I don't know what I do.
exactly right. And you don't know, and you show him like he trudges up to the building like not knowing anything, and just goes through this routine of changing his clothes and getting in the elevator, and then
he changes his clothes and everything.
Yeah, and then he wakes up like 9 hours later.
Oh, wow.
So it's so then the premise obviously is that like bad things are happening at the job, but you can't remember, it's that whole thing.
Yeah, you could be a hired hitman and you don't know it.
Exactly.
Right. I see all like different directions this can go.
so that's the thing. So this premise is super interesting, but the problem is the episode itself is so slow and just plodding and is kind of boring. So I'm torn between like, I think it's a really great idea. But this was also like watching paint dry. It was just kind of dull. So I haven't watched the second episode yet, but I really think the concept is cool.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of like you. I'm like, yeah, I agree with you. I see a lot of potential with that, but then like you said, you're like,
yeah, it was just so slow, and you're like trying to figure it out at first because you don't know exactly what's going on, and you're like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm like falling asleep.
Yeah, sounds like I could get my lawyers on that. Sounds like they copied Brightside Home Theater.
There you go.
The beginnings of Brightside Home Theater. Like watching paint dry in Dolby Digital. Listening to paint dry. No, it's funny because I didn't see the trailer for it, but I saw like the artwork, the poster for it or whatever. And I was like, I don't even understand what that is. It was like, it was a building, right?
Yeah.
And it was like a kind of a flat-like building. And I'm like, my memory's thinking like Pentagon, but it's not shaped like a Pentagon, but it's flat like that, and you can walk into it or something. But I'm like, I wonder what this, and in Severance, I'm like, wonder what that means. It's intriguing. But now that you say that, I love the premise, but that sounds sad that it's like slow.
Yeah. So I don't know.
You probably just came off the fast-paced action of Endgame, and it seems slow in comparison.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get to. It depends on how bored I am one day, whether I get to the second episode or not. So,
oh, I thought you watched both. You've only seen the first one.
No, I only watched the one. Yeah.
Well, John, let me give you a little bit of advice a wise man once told me.
Yeah.
Once you get past the first episode, it really picks up in the second episode. You're going to love it.
Yeah. So, I like I said, I'm torn between whether I think the idea is that clever or I want to sit through, or if it's not worth sitting through another slow, boring hour of the show.
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
How long is the episode? Is it an hour, or does it just feel that way? Is it like a half hour?
45, 48 minutes, whatever the standard like hour-long drama would be.
Okay. It's just 45 minutes, whatever the hour-long dramas are. Wouldn't that be an hour long?
Yeah, but they have commercials.
Yeah, but not on Apple TV.
Yeah.
Now, I know what you're saying. Like Endgame's like 42 minutes because it's meant for
Yeah, they make them
NBC.
48 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
When they could just make them an hour, But
I know
they
what
still
you meant,
hold to that. They hold to that formula of 48 minutes.
I couldn't let the joke go.
Yeah.
45 minutes, whatever an hour long is. What do you want?
It's like who's buried in Grant's tomb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then we got to Thursday, which is kind of normally our big TV watching day because we're off and we watch a bunch of things. And we got up, had a few errands to run in the morning, came home around noon, and found out that our internet had died.
Oh no!
and it was working in the morning when we
On
left.
TV
but
day?
Got home and it was dead. And then there's like nothing I can watch in my house without internet because I stream everything. So
you got Blu-rays.
So that's the thing. So we watched, we had like a Blu-ray day, and watched Ghostbusters 1 and 2 on 4K. So this
nice.
is nothing we need to talk about really because they're not new things. But
what'd you think of them?
Well, I think that they transferred. Like I liked
nice.
I like the 4K with the Atmos. They still have that grainy look of being an 80s movie, but
I just
but
talked
you could
about
see
that.
all the grains. It was
exactly. It's funny. I just talked about that with Steve George on my Takeover Tuesday podcast, and we both said the same thing. It's like I had the same experience with Karate Kid, in that when you first start it, this is supposed to be a 4K movie, and you look at it and it doesn't look very good. But then, like a few minutes into it, once you adjust to the fact that it's an 80s movie that's in 4K, you're like, wow, this does look really good. It's like it really kind of pops and you like it. But then you go back to something more recent, like you throw in Dune, and you're like, yeah, that's what 4K is supposed to look like,
Right.
But yeah, no, they do look good. It isn't anything else.
So
you watch those two. So there you go. There's still 20 hours left in the day, John. What else do you do?
Well, we watched Knight's Tale, which Heath Ledger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Just I don't know why
it had to
popped
be
into my
Lydia's
head.
choice.
I love
really?
that movie, man.
Yeah, it's a good
Love it.
movie.
But yeah, for whatever reason, it popped into my head like, hey, I want to see this movie, and
let me
watch that.
Let me do my shameful plug for Friday's podcast. I am super excited about Behind Enemy Lines with Owen Wilson, Gene Hackman, and do you remember that movie?
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh my God! On Blu-ray, it's a banger. It's a banger. Yeah, there's two scenes in that movie that like you're gonna have to watch them when Lydia's not around and just crank it up. Yeah. It is awesome, and one of them's missile chase scene. So they're in their plane and they're being chased by a missile, then a second missile, and they're just trying to outrun it. And it's one of the greatest chase scenes in movie history because the sound, it's awesome. And the way they shoot it, the camera work, they do a lot of like instead of, how in the movies, like you'll see somebody, they do this too. They walk on the aircraft carrier and they're walking to their plane and it's in slow motion. Well, you get that. But then in this movie, they speed it up to show like heightened, like chaos. So they'll be like, everything will go really fast. They'll be like, you got to see it to believe it. But it's, you just like, you get all tensed up watching these scenes. And like I said, so good. You can stream them, but it doesn't sound nearly as good. Not nearly as good. I did both. I actually rented it too to compare the two. And the stream didn't sound nearly as good as the disc. Disc is hard to come by, though. It's pretty rare, but you can find it on Amazon, but it is hard to... I think they sell it in like a double pack or something like that with another movie, but it's fairly cheap, but it is harder to find. But yeah, Behind Enemy Lines, so good. Yeah, I was super excited. I liked the movie anyways, and then when I was reviewing it, I got blown away. I'm like, holy crap, this is it's better than I ever remembered. But I think the last time I watched it, I didn't have the exact same system I have. But
so
yeah, you'll like that. But okay, go ahead. Sorry.
And then I started watching. I got on a kind of a Ricky Gervais kick after Afterlife. So I started watching The Office. Obviously his version of The Office. We talked about it last week, but I started watching it. I watched like the first 5 episodes of the first season. I mean, you mentioned that you never really watched The American Office. Obviously this came first and was the inspiration for that, but you can definitely see like they really are the same. Other than the fact that, the name of the company they work for is different. It's kind of like the exact same show. So I found myself like I enjoyed it, but I don't guess I thought it was as funny because it was kind of like I've been here already.
Right.
You know?
But
So,
doesn't it make you think like it kind of I know you watched the American one first, but like
Right.
I was saying with Top Gear, like I watched for years, I watched the British version because that's all there was. Then they came out
Right.
with the American version, and I was like, oh, what the hell? I'm like, it's literally exact copy. And that's kind of like, I mean, you still have to deliver all the lines, and Steve
Right.
Carell's great, Krasinski, and the cast is great in the American version,
Right.
but it's nothing new. And that's,
Right.
you know, as far as
Well, and
like,
even like the John Krasinski character is Martin Freeman. You know, he's great.
okay, I didn't
Yeah,
know that. I didn't
so,
know the names.
yeah.
I just knew the other show. I've seen that more than I've seen the American, and the American I've seen like very little of.
Very little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. I like Ricky Gervais. I think he plays
Yeah.
the character well, but it, like I said, it felt like I was watching something I'd already seen. So it
Right.
wasn't
Almost like you don't
quite
need
as
to
funny
see
as
it.
I-
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, the delivery, it lacks the punch when you know
Right.
what's coming. So
Now, if I was seeing this one first, I probably would have been talking about how genius it was, you know, but
yeah. Oh, of course. And you'd be like, this is a ripoff. Watching the
Right.
American, you'd be like, they're ripping it off. What the hell?
Right.
They're really not. I mean, they are, but they're not. I mean, they're just bringing it to us.
well, right. It's an adaptation. I think he was
Right.
even a producer on the American version, if I'm
Was
not
he?
mistaken. So
Maybe.
yeah. So it wasn't like it was, hey, we stole this from you.
Right.
Um,
Like Mr. McPhee used to say, good artists borrow, great artists steal.
right.
So,
Yeah, and then the only other thing is Killing Eve season 4 started
okay.
Sunday night, so they dropped the first 2 episodes of that. I don't know how far along you are
We're in
with
2.
the season 2. Okay.
Plugging
um,
away, John.
Yeah, well, I just wasn't sure if you were caught up
Yeah,
because this
no.
is season 4 and it is the final season.
Oh, is it?
but,
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
so we're not that far behind. Look
Yeah.
at us.
So you won't be that far behind. But yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's more of the same. It seems fine. You know, you're always got that I don't remember what was going on thing because
Yeah.
it's been a year since I watched it, but so it kind of takes you a little while to get back up to speed, I guess. But
I
yeah,
did.
I don't know. Seems
Speaking
fun.
of that, we'll go back to checkout for a second. I did notice that in the saga book, 55, the first like
Mhm.
3 or 4 pages were dedicated to getting you back up to speed to what was
Right.
happened 3.5 years ago. And I thought it was a pretty it only took me like 3.5 seconds to get to the next book.
Right.
It was a little bit more noticeable to me. So I was just like, all right, can we get on with the story? Yeah, I know this is what just
Right.
happened because it just happened.
Right.
But yeah, it's
Yeah, and since I had just reread the whole thing like you,
right.
I was caught up. But
Yeah.
I guess if I hadn't read it for a while, it would have been a good.
You would have needed
Catch
those
me up.
5 pages. Yeah. You'd be
Yeah.
like, okay. Oh yeah. I mean, you know the meat of it. You just don't know all the other details that they kept,
Right.
going back to. So, all right. Is that it?
Yeah,
That's
that's
on
it.
your list. All right. We started Space Force again, season
Okay.
2.
Yeah.
We're like 3 or 4 episodes in. Again, a lot like Endgame on Peacock. Super cheesy, but
Right. But it's
fun.
fun.
It's just
Yeah.
fun. It's like
The
don't take it
Malkovich character is really good.
right. I mean, that's what the people that don't like it. They're like people. I hear people say how bad it is. I'm like, you don't think Malkovich knows that?
Yeah.
Like Steve Carell doesn't know that. It's like it's just a spoof. It's supposed to be fun. It's like, I mean, they're making fun of themselves in it, and I love it. I think it's hysterical.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'm rolling my eyes, but I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's hysterical. Pam and Tommy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're caught up with that.
I think we might be 1 episode back, but it seems to me the only comment I had is they seem to have done away with what's his name's character.
I was just gonna say that. It seems like we might never get the answer to his side of the story after that. Because the last 2 episodes, it's like they've moved
Seth
on
Rogen,
to
right? Yeah, Seth
Yeah,
Rogen.
Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're like, what happens to him ultimately, And we
Right.
might not find out because the story is Pam and Tommy, and they've moved on.
Right. Well,
like, time has moved on for them. So
well, that's what I just wanted a little bit more of a bow put on to what happened to him, because I feel like maybe they did answer it, and the answer is they started something, but they didn't really benefit from it because of that.
He
day
actually
and age.
didn't get anything out of it.
No, but he stole it, he released it, and then it exploded around the world, and he got no benefit out of it. Right. So like it literally, I mean, that's why it's Pam and Tommy, and it's just now we just get to see the aftermath of, once the bomb goes off, you can't put the pin back in the grenade. It's like, what are you gonna do? And that was it. It's Seth Rogen's character was basically the grenade, and it's like,
he's just not part of the story
No
anymore.
benefit.
But yeah, they didn't really we didn't get his ending necessarily.
And so. I think I don't know if he comes back. If you're an episode ahead of me.
Only one. Right. I think there's only one left. After,
is there?
They
were only together 3 years. It's so fun. They were only married 3 years. I know they were. I don't think they broke up like I think they were still like friends or something. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, they were only together 3 years, so it couldn't be too long of a span for this show. But yeah, it's really interesting. Once you get past the talking junk.
Yeah.
Obviously we're still plugging away on Afterlife. The Expanse is really picking up. End of season 2 now.
Okay.
Because I took a little break from it to I just went right through Reacher and stuff like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, The Expanse, I'm like, now it's really picking up, and I'm like, I cannot wait I wanted to watch an episode before we came on here. I didn't get home in time. So, but yeah, it's so good. Yeah. That's getting really, really good. A lot of world building and, galaxy building, I should say.
Yes.
At the beginning.
The whole first couple of seasons, really.
Yeah. And exactly. And it takes you that long to start, okay, this character again, because they keep bouncing but once you get used to that, and now everything starts to play out, and you're like, okay. Let's see. Oh, and another show. I don't know if you've mentioned this show and we just got to it, or you haven't mentioned it, and I'm about to tell you about a new one. For you anyways.
Okay.
Inventing Anna.
I haven't seen it. I know it's on Netflix, so.
So good.
Yeah.
Yes. And the tagline is, it's all true except for the stuff that's made up.
Right.
Which is insane, because what does that mean? Because this woman, Anna Delphi, I think is what she calls herself, but her real name is like Anna Soren. Mm-hmm. And she basically, if you Google it, and that's what I had to do, because I'm like, is this a made up story? Is this a real story? What is it? It's a real made up story. So Anna Soren was just, I don't know who she really was yet, but that was her name. She pretended to be this like socialite, like this high up, like had money, like her father had money. So she like coaxed all these people out of trips and money and all of this stuff. And she led this crazy lifestyle. She's in jail now, for real.
Right.
And, but the big part of the story is that there was a writer for, I don't know if it was the New York Times or who she was writing for, but she's in the show, and she's the one that wanted to get it out there. And everybody's like, nah, it's not even a story. But then it starts to become a story and stuff. And that's, so the show is as much about the writer trying to get the story out too. But Julia Garner plays her from Ozark, Ruth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she is awesome, because after by the time you're done with episode 2, you'll forget that she played Ruth, because she has this like Russian accent. She's doing this weird Russian accent throughout and you'll see why I say weird and when you see the show. But she's doing this weird Russian accent, and she's so good at it too. She's so good on the show, that acting the way you got to see it. But she's playing somebody that's making up a life and you don't know what's real and what isn't real. So like the tagline for the show is like, you're like, is this whole show fake, or are they saying that her story is fake? But it's an amazing story that is true. And it's crazy because I was like reading real articles on her about what she's done. And I think she's still in jail now. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely. I think you guys will like that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Inventing Anna on Netflix. So, see, I'm bringing it, John.
You are.
I'm doing my best.
I'll add it to my list.
I actually had that one last week and I forgot it. And I was like,
oh, really?
so mad. Yeah, I was so mad. That's why we might be almost done with that one. I was like, the next day we sat down to watch something. I was like, and she goes, let's watch this episode of Inventing It. I was like, I forgot to mention that I had a new show for him. So
I had something.
Yeah, I actually had some content on the week that he made fun of me.
Yeah. Now it just looks like you're compensating.
No, I know. We got to binge watch a show he hasn't seen. That's going to be tough to find.
Yeah. Good luck.
Hey, I've brought a few to you, though.
You have.
Endgame, Inventing Anna. Yep. What else? I don't know. I'm too busy rewatching old movies.
Yeah.
All right. It's kind of been a lull, though, in shows. Because we don't have like Peacemaker's over, so that we had.
Well, Peacemaker just ended, right?
And we don't have anything, no Marvel show yet.
Yeah, we get next is Obi-Wan, so that's a couple weeks away.
Well, no, don't we have? No, we have another show coming. Oh, we have Moon Knight.
A couple months. Is that before?
Moon Knight's coming at the end of this month.
That's what's coming. That's what I was thinking of. I was like, that's what's coming in a couple of weeks.
Moon Knight comes on the 25th.
Yeah,
and then
Obi-Wan's like 3 months still.
Yeah, that's May 25th.
Right.
And we also have, what's the show? There's another show coming this month. Oh, Halo.
Oh, that's right.
On I think that's the 16th.
Paramount Plus, I believe.
Is that Paramount? Yeah.
I thought it was Paramount Plus, yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right. But yeah, that's going to be, and Picard.
I was just going to say Picard starts next week.
Picard's next week. So at least we'll have that for next week. Because I'll get that. I think that drops on Monday. Is it Sunday or Monday?
I thought it was Thursday.
Oh, is that tomorrow then? This week? Or next Thursday?
I think the 3rd, so tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Cool. Yeah. All right, so we'll have that for next week because that's season 2, right? I didn't miss a season.
No, season 2.
Okay.
No, season 2.
It's been a while. So
it has.
Yeah. All right. So the lull's over, John. It was a 1 week lull.
That's true. 1 week lull.
we got Picard next week, and we'll talk about that. And then then we'll have another Picard the following week, and then we'll have Halo, and then we're into Moon Knight. Oh, we're off and running. 22 is looking good.
It is.
And look at us, the new 52 and 22.
Yeah, awesome.
Got to rename the podcast.
The new 52 and 22.
Yeah, the new 52 and 22, and we'll go back to number 1, just how you like it.
Yeah. We'll reboot.
I can't wait. And then in July we got Zdarsky for my birthday.
I know.
Come on. This year is awesome. Love 22.
That made me feel like Batman might be going on a break for a while, though. Because, like, issue 125, I think they're on, like, issue 123 now.
No.
They're going to be done with that.
No. That can't be right.
I think it's pretty close.
No. Say it ain't so, John.
So, if Batman goes away at the end of March until July, that's a few months. I don't know if DC can survive without Batman for a few months.
Come on. Let me see. I got Batman right here.
What number are they on?
Oh, yeah. I got the most recent one I have is 121.
121. Okay, so that's only 3 more issues, and then
that's 3 months if it goes monthly.
Batman's every 2 weeks, I believe.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
120. I have 19, 20, 21. So drop it monthly and it'll get you to, March, April, May, and then take June off and come back in July.
But it's not monthly. It's every 2 weeks.
I know, but if they went monthly, at least it would appease the readers. When did 121 come out? Oh, let me look it up here.
Today.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's today.
Oh, that would stink. Yeah. Ugh. Well, that's what their numbers are doing.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Because I'm pretty sure they said they were coming back with number 125. So,
well, I'll just have to get caught up on Batman Catwoman. I'm only 2 behind on that.
I said that means there'll only be 8 Batman titles per week instead of 9.
Right.
So,
yeah, I can start. I'll read Detective for a little bit. Get caught back up on that. Haven't read that in a few months. Oh man, that's crazy. If they took that time off, so they said he is starting on 25. Is that what you said?
I thought the article said specifically number 125, and
so literally, there's
remember thinking
left.
that was only
22, 23, and 24.
That was only a couple issues away. So
right.
The fact that it's July means there'll have to be some kind of hiatus.
Wow. Well, that'll build interest. Let it go away for a little while. Zdarsky comes back. Comes to it. Awesome.
Comes to it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that'll be fun. I told you, 2022 is shaping up, John. Shaping up.
Yeah.
We're looking good.
I say, as long as we don't look out the window at the real world.
That's why we make content like this, John.
Exactly.
People don't have to see the real world. Just look at it through our eyes. Closed.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
Over.
John, ignorance is bliss.
Yes.
The older you get, the more you know, and the more angry you get. Why are all these smart people so mad?
Yeah. I know.
I'm stupid and I'm happy.
That's the secret.
That's the secret. That's it, everybody. That's it for this week. Stay stupid, people.
Yeah.
If you keep listening to this podcast, you will.
Yeah. We're bringing the IQ down.
Yep. I like that. I like that closing better than we need for John. Stay stupid, people.
There you go.
All right. You ready? Is that it for this week? Short show. Only a nice tidy hour and a half.
Yeah. That's average.
That's average. That's actually below average for us. That's below average.
Yeah.
That's our low end. That's our low end. We haven't done a 3-hour show in a while, John.
We have not.
You're biting your tongue. Let's not.
Well, I just can't. We haven't had anything we would talk about.
That's what I'm saying.
Would take that long.
Well, honestly, it's like we used to do 2 a week but we had the content and we struggled once COVID hit and all the content, we had movies monthly. Yeah. We're getting back there. And it's funny because we used to do 2 1-hour shows a week. So we cut back to 1 2-hour show a week.
Right.
But yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's really getting rid of those segments. We dropped.
Well, that we did
all
recently.
The speculator stuff. Yeah, but that's when the show started getting
shorter,
down to an hour and a half. Yeah, that stuff was good for a half an hour usually.
Right.
So.
Right. So yeah, but we dropped that. But then allows us to talk about the stuff we really, really love, and we'll just keep on going. So we're doing right now.
Right. Just added 10 minutes.
Just added 10 more minutes talking about the fact we don't have enough stuff.
Exactly.
Oh, all right. Let's get out of here. That'll be it for this week. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll be back next week. Picard. If you haven't seen Picard, check that out. Because the season, it's on, that's also on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus, yes.
What was it called when it first started? It was something else. It wasn't Paramount. It was
CBS All Access.
All Access. That's what it was.
Yeah.
All Ass Kiss. Okay. Yeah. All right. Have a great week, everybody, and stay stupid.
Take care, everyone.
Hey, Fred.